y'all, we have another speaker. And so we're going to bring this young lady on. And I'm going to tell you guys, energy is always infectious, smile is always contagious. And her title of her talk is called The Anatomy of a Bounce. I bring to you Manaima Safir.
Told you that your thoughts are flowing constantly, every day, all day long, like a waterfall. Did you know that the average person has anywhere from 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day? I embrace this moment right now because I survived some of the darkest times of my life. There was a time when I almost drowned under 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. In just a moment, I'm going to share with you 6 of the basics that kept me from drowning and helped me with my bounce back. My name is Manaima, and it was a time in my life when I lived with extreme anxiety, deep depression, overwhelming grief, PTSD. I even considered taking my own life. And these 6 things kept me from doing just that. So get ready, let's get started. Do me a favor. In the chat, I want you to put a giant letter B, capital B. This B is one of the foundations of my bounce. So I don't know if you've ever been to New York or had the privilege of riding on the subway train in New York. Being from the Bronx, I've done it quite a few times. But this is what you learn when you get on the train. If you don't get a seat, the very first thing you have to do is brace yourself. Because just like life, that train is going to go faster than you expect it to go. It's going to rock. It's going to slow down abruptly. You may bump into some people. You may even fall. So you absolutely have to brace yourself. And when you brace yourself, you have to get your balance. And as you get your balance, guess what happens? Your belief grows, just like in life. This was the first part of my bounce. Do me a favor in the chat, put the letter O. Okay? So that O stands for owning the desires of your heart. Why? Well, what's the point of that? Well, I remember one of my earliest desires was to speak from a stage. But do you know how long it was before I owned that desire? I wouldn't tell anybody. I wasn't doing anything in that realm, in that space, attempting to get to that goal. It just was something that I harbored in my heart. It never left me though. So I had to eventually own that and move in that direction in spite of what people thought. So that O is to own the desires of your heart. It's major. The thing that most people regret in their senior years is not owning the desires of their heart and doing more in that arena. The next step is put the letter U in the chat for me, guys. In my senior year of high school, my younger sister, who was 14 years old at the time, was diagnosed with a brain tumor. In a week's time, she had surgery. Very difficult time for the family. And exactly a year later, we lost my mother to suicide. And 2 years after that, my sister lost her battle with cancer. You know, my why is very clear. I understand why my work is so important. I understand why speaking from the stage will help me touch so many more people. I understand that my story is not for me to feel bad about. It's for me to share. so that anybody under the sound of my voice who might be going through a difficult time can see that that's just a moment in time and you can get through it. That is my why. What is yours? Learning to understand your why will help fuel you through the rest of your life, I promise. It'll help you accomplish those goals. The next letter in bounce is N. Put the letter N in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. That N, man, after I lost my mom and my sister and went through a lot of other things I can't get into here, one of the things I used to do is watch this channel. Now, I don't know who's familiar with the Hallmark channel. I don't even know if it still exists. I don't watch TV anymore. But the Hallmark channel, you were guaranteed at any time of the day to find a story that was going to make you cry. And that's what I did. I was watching Hallmark's channel movies. I was watching things that were sad and making me sad. I was listening to stories that were making me sad. And I'm just been trying to figure out why I felt so sad. Well, I wasn't paying attention to what was familiar. See, I had had so much trauma that it became familiar because that's what I was expecting to happen in my life. It happened. It was a devastating time in my life, but I did not need to be adding to that. I needed to be turning the page. I needed to be redirecting my focus. I needed to consciously be aware and notice where I was putting my attention. That is the N. Notice your focus. Now that covers a whole lot more stuff than just what you watch on television. Who are you talking to? Who's your support system? Do they make you feel good? Do they encourage you? Or are they in that pity party with you all the time? Those are some of the things we cover in that N. Moving right along to the C. Listen, I don't know if you've heard it before, but doing the same thing over and over and over again, the definition of that is called insanity. Okay? So understanding that in order to get something different in your life, you have to do something different in your life. That's what that C is. Challenge yourself. Put that C down in the chat for me. Challenge yourself to do something different. Challenge yourself to own the desires of your heart. Challenge yourself to understand, to look at that. Look at it. That's called your shadow self. What is it that's keeping you from moving forward? Challenge yourself to take these good, hard looks at what's going on. Challenge yourself to notice your focus. That's what the C is. The last letter in my bounce back is E. Put the E down in the chat for me. And I have a question to ask you. I need you to put it in the chat. What is better than Christmas Day? Just quickly, first thing that comes to your mind. Whether it be payday, your birthday, anything, vacation time. What is it that's better than Christmas Day? My answer to you is Christmas Eve. So now why? Why is Christmas Eve better than Christmas Day? Well, that E represents expectation. Christmas Eve is the expectation. The next day is the expectation of something wonderful. You have the right and the responsibility to make sure you have something to expect, something wonderful to anticipate in your life every single day. Because that energy all by itself is palpable. When you sit in the expectation of something amazing happening, that sends out a vibration to the universe that will never return to you void. And learning to be in that space consistently is super powerful. I want to thank you for sharing this moment with me, Naima. And I want you to know, no matter what part of the journey that you're in, because you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. So no matter what part of the journey you're in, make sure that you understand this. The lessons that you learn during the worst parts of your life or the most challenging parts of your life can become the greatest, the greatest part of your story. Thank you for sharing this moment with me, Naima. And don't forget to visit www.themagicoffiveminutes.com. When you join my mailing list, I'll send you a personally recorded 5-minute meditation that will help you begin your balance and serve you in your bounce back. Thank you.